Hi everyone, welcome to the Uncut Dialogues. Our guest today reminds us that the smallest creature can create the largest impact. Through her work, she's helping farmers and ecosystems. She's determined, she's curious, she is uncut. Please join me in welcoming Poorva Lalbhai, an urban beekeeper, to the Uncut Dialogues, created by Natasha Chopra in association with Uncut by Aditi Amin. Hi Poorva, welcome to the show.
Hi, Aditi. Thank you for having me here.
So, Poorva, I am very fascinated today to meet an urban beekeeper who started with water resource management. And then, how did bees happen? And then, bees in my backyard. Tell us more.
Bees in my backyard was born in around 2020, more out of my curiosity about the world of honeybees and native bees.
Okay.
So with bees in my backyard, I want to accomplish three things. One is documentation and research, which is collecting more data about the bees that are present around us. Second is awareness. And I think we all have the curiosity bug, and the world is truly fascinating. I think once you get to know a little bit, you want to know more. Also, the idea is to promote smaller beekeepers. So I want to be able to put out products from smaller industries, smaller beekeeping industries. And the third part is the action limb, which is actually taking indigenous bee boxes, stingless bee boxes to both the rural area and urban. In rural area, I want to work with farmers to help them augment their incomes through the bee boxes, both with pollination services as well as sales of honey thereafter. And in urban areas, largely to spark curiosity, because I think once you open that box, you will be hooked.
So, why do you think that's important?
So, Aditi, I think when we think about bees, our perception is of a honeybee. And there are more than 20,000 species of bees in the world. And less than 5% of them are actually honeybees, which live in colonies and make honey which humans can consume. It's very important to create the awareness, because one of the largest roles that bees do is providing pollination services.
Okay.
And I think the more we know about this world, the more we can do for it.
Absolutely. So, Poorva, is it easy to maintain a bee box at home if I had to just, get one?
So, Aditi, in my journey between Mellifera, Serrana, and stingless bees, these are all different types of bees that I've experimented with. My hypothesis was that the indigenous bees, it should be very easy to keep them because they're more acclimatized to this given climatic regime. I would say stingless bees are very easy to keep. Like the name suggests, they're stingless, they do not sting. They prefer a small box, and they do not need a lot of active maintenance. And we are working on designing boxes which can give you a view into the box without you needing to open it, because they do not like to be disturbed as often.
Okay.
So you can actually have a window into their world. And trust me, once you open it, you'll always stay hooked.
Yeah. So, are there people in, Ahmedabad or anywhere in India who help you maintain your bee boxes, or, like in an ecosystem where, you can call out for help? Is there any setup like that at all?
So I did my training with UTMT Society, and they work with indigenous bees as well. So I can always call out to them. I think now I've learned enough, at least regarding stingless bees and Serrana, and I personally want to work with stingless bees. Other than that, there's one more gentleman whom I work with, Rakesh ji. He's an excellent beekeeper, and I think he started beekeeping before it became part of the government agenda. So, yeah, I think and this is just to name a few, but there are lots of people who are working with bees, and with the recent impetus to the bee industry, a lot more people are getting into it.
How does the hive work?
All right. So, a hive is actually a superorganism. In a hive, there are big number of bees. It can be anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 depending on the species and the weather conditions. There is one queen bee. And that's female, obviously. There are drones that are male, and they're actually called khattu because they don't do any work. And then there are loads and loads of workers, and they're all again female. And one of the most amazing things is that there is work distribution in the workers based on the age that they are.
So hierarchy, they're following a hierarchy. Wow, that's so interesting, right?
It is fascinating. So there are undertaker workers, there'll be workers that will be actually making honey. There are certain workers who will be taking care of the other larvae. And the queen does only egg laying and making sure that the hive stays together. I think for me, that is really interesting. But there's another fun fact I'll tell you. And that is the Game of Thrones moment inside a hive.
Yes, guys, you heard her right. Game of Thrones moment in the honey hive, in the beehive.
So workers actually, a queen bee is formed from the same cell that a worker is formed from, but it's just on the food that it eats
Okay.
to this cell. And that queen cell is usually bigger. The queen is much bigger inside, stores a lot of eggs, right? So usually in a hive, at any point of time, when the workers sense that the queen is becoming slow or aging, they will make at least 5 to 6 queen cells at the same time.
Okay.
And the first queen to emerge from its cell is going to make a tooting sound. And that tooting sound, unfortunately, the other queens reply to her with the same toot. And that's when this emerging queen signals to the workers to go and kill the others. So she's the rape.
So, Poorva, tell me some fun misconceptions that people have around bees and honey.
So I roll my eyes the most when people say Albert Einstein said that we will all die in 4 years if all the bees die.
You know, I've heard that so many times and gone into panic mode. So, I hope that's not true.
These are very crucial. I don't think you can deny that. But the reason why I do not like it is not Albert Einstein.
Yeah, no, that I know.
Make things and give it credibility.
You have been working and doing some research with cotton farmers and bees. So tell me more about that.
So the whole idea of bees in my backyard was to take indigenous bee boxes to farms. And our first set of project is to work with organic cotton farmers because we have a huge cotton belt around.
Right.
We've done 1 year of studies. And we unfortunately missed out on the last year because the rain was erratic and the cotton crop didn't do as well. Hopefully the next 2-3 years, we should be able to collect more data and then corroborate our hypothesis for the cotton.
So what is your hypothesis?
So the idea is cotton is a self-pollinating plant as such, but bees do help in increasing the quality of the cotton that you get as well as the quantity that is produced. So do the stingless bees actively help this process is what we are trying to prove using data collection. And I think because of my studies and scientific bend, I want to make sure that what we put out is scientifically backed.
You know, Poorva, if you're able to figure this out, it will be groundbreaking for agriculture, especially in India. There are so many variables, right? Like how you said, like last year, the whole crop was ruined because of weather condition. And there are so many different factors that affect your research. How do you stay on track? And, you know, how do you motivate yourself and show up?
So honestly, I think it's great to have a team working on something. I think that when your energies are low, they can pull you up. And I'm blessed to be working with Professor Subhash from Ahmedabad University on this. He's helped me design the process and design the project and how to collect data and what to do. So it's good because if I tend to tap down, he's there to help me move forward. But I think apart from that, I really, in all the research that I have done on the bees, you find very little data that proves that this is helpful. And in India, we have a lot of research on bees and agriculture actively.
Okay.
Not cotton.
Okay.
So cotton was my first place, and I want to be able to put it out with a solid backing saying, yes, this works, instead of saying, I've seen it works.
So determination.
Yes.
That's powerful, you know. So Poorva, what is the larger impact that you're trying to achieve through all your work?
There are a couple of answers to that, Aditi. The first, so when I started this, my husband Puneet and we were discussing the ecosystem services that bees provide. And I think that is at the core of it. hand in hand with promoting indigenous bees, which right now is a lacuna in the apiculture industry. So I think that is very big in being able to push out indigenous bees in rural sectors because they are better acclimatized to the region. We also give a boost to the local species, which is what is important, in my perspective at least. The second is to create curiosity, because it is a fascinating world around us. And the more we know, the more there is a desire to know what is it that is causing an issue. If you don't know, you'll never really realize. There are enough species that are disappearing around us that we haven't even discovered.
True.
I think the third is to actually promote ethical beekeepers and sustainable beekeeping practices. Smaller beekeepers will always find it tougher to put their products out in the market and to have enough following for them. So I'm working towards curating and sourcing products which I feel are ethically harvested, designed. So there's beeswax products. Just to give you a quick side note, beekeeping is one industry from which we use everything that a beehive produces.
Oh, really?
Crazy. From honey, it's not just honey. We use beeswax, we use propolis, we use the bee venom. We use everything possibly from a beehive, maybe except eating bees, which also I won't be surprised if somewhere there. So that's the other component. Because the second you can promote ethical beekeepers, I think you can really help the local production.
True.
Also, Aditi, for me, working with bees and discovering native bees also led to an understanding of pollinators. And bees are not the only pollinators. They are the more efficient pollinators, but they're not the only pollinators. And there is a lot of specific plant pollinator interaction that happens. So we've actually recently, in last 2 years, also worked on a project called Nectar Navigator.
Okay.
Nectar being the food resource from flowers, and navigators meaning navigation. So the idea is to create more spaces which allow for different pollinators to thrive. So again, increasing the species diversity. The government's also recently put out a pollinator corridor project and putting up plants along major highways so that you're creating these tunnels, like you have the elephant corridor in a similar fashion. So you're actually creating pathways so you allow for more biodiversity to thrive.
Oh, how lovely. So are you working with any government in any projects or?
No, I'm not right now. In Nectar Navigators, we've only done the awareness component, and now we actually want to take it up more in an urban space. So initially start with Ahmedabad, where we can put out a couple of different pollinator-friendly spaces.
So I hope today's podcast leaves us being a little more sensitive and a little more curious about the world around us. And with that, Poorva, we'll let you be.
So I'll give you an interesting story. Vanilla was found in South America, in the forests of South America. And the colonizing countries wanted to try and grow it in Europe and in other countries. And they took the plant and they tried to get vanilla out of it. And year after year, they would see the flower, but the fruiting would not happen. They would not get the vanilla pods out of it. Till one day, a slave boy incidentally helped them discover that they would need to do it with their hand, because there is a very specific bee in South America which pollinates the vanilla orchid.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of the vanilla that you consume is hand pollinated.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. No wonder it's so expensive.
It is. What could you think? It is true. What can I try? So expensive.